So first thing, looking at here is a proclamation of a new term. So as incoming mayor, we want to take a chance to recognize the new term coming up in this new calendar year. We're in the middle of our fiscal year. It gets confusing sometimes. So upon the powers of the state of Iowa, I now proclaim the start of the 2024 to 2025 term of office for the city of Cedar Falls at noon on this January 2nd, 2024. We can applaud. So, and also my first honor and my first official act as mayor is to award the emeritus status to Mayor Rob Green and to Simon Harding as our outgoing council member and mayor, who, if you guys would like to come up. These former elected officials have volunteered to serve as official goodwill ambassadors for the city and to mentor and advise the mayor and city council as requested as we go through our new terms and as we continue working with the city. So if you guys are able to come up here. So you know what I'm handing. I have both the certificate and as well as their official mayor emeritus and council member emeritus name badges. So, Rob, there's your name badge. Thanks. And make sure I give the right one to the right people. Mayor Green. And Simon. Thanks. Thank you.
Can we get a picture, Simon?
Sure.
Who gets to take
I don't know,
a
just
picture?
whoever takes a picture.
Do you want to take a picture quick? Get the whole group?
Yeah.
Go ahead and open your, can you show it?
I will.
Right here, we're going 1, 2, 3. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
So I was told I have 10 minutes to speak, but we're 10 minutes ahead of schedule, so I get 20 minutes to speak. Thank you all for attending my TED Talk. So I don't have too much I want to say today. We have a lot of work. I've said a lot over 8 months. You realize you've said the same things over and over, and you start to wonder, like, which speech am I giving? Which thing do people want to hear about today? I went back to my kickoff speech to kind of look at what some of my initial comments were and some of the initial things I wanted to really present as part of my role as wanting to run for mayor. And I realized a lot of the things that I said then are still the same things I want to say now. I'm not going to give the same speech, I promise. So first off, though, I did just want to share some gratitude. It is an honor to be able to stand up here and walking into this role of mayor. This is a town I grew up in. This is my hometown, so it means a lot to be able to serve alongside people I grew up with, to serve for people that I grew up with, for people that have mentored me along the way. And I want to be completely honest and first off admit that I am only here today because of the people that I have had a chance to learn from and to work with over the last 10, 15, 20 years. And also to my parents. They couldn't be here today. They both are out of town. Mom's snowbirding in Florida. It's much nicer down there, so I'll give her some credit. But I would not be the person I am today without the loving and also tough love relationship that I have with my parents. My brother and I benefited a lot from having a really solid family who was able to care for us, provide for us. And I recognize the amount of support and privilege that has come with having the life I have growing up. I went to Cedar Falls schools, went to UNI, have had amazing teachers, faculty advisors, mentors, worked at Gross Cedar Valley for a time, and there was really a first chance to dive into economic development, community development, and really get a sense of all the pieces that really you don't often get a chance to do. So I know I've been incredibly fortunate over the last 15, 20 years to really get a chance to prepare for this role, working with the community in a lot of different capacities. So again, it takes a village, and I want to thank everybody who's played a part in helping us get to where we are today, including our past leaders, who, it's just like any elected leadership, you're coming on the shoulders of a lot of work that's been done over centuries in this community, so thank you. Over the course of this last year, I've had the opportunity to talk and get a very much inside look at the community, doing all the door knocking, the meet and greets. You get a sense of what are people thinking, what are people experiencing, what are their concerns. And while there are certainly specific topics or concerns people were worried about or would like to see addressed, I took away from all those conversations this: we are incredibly fortunate to have the community that we have. Incredibly fortunate. Sometimes I think, having grown up here, I say we take that for granted. We just have the community we have, and we don't think about how did we get to where we are and the amount of work and investment that it took to get us here. Is it perfect? Not at all. We always have things we need to improve on, and every community always does. But the quality of life and the sense of opportunity that you hear when you talk to people around this community is it's impossible to miss. People know we have a great place. They're looking for where are we going, what is that next step, but people know the amount of opportunity we have here, and it's time for us to start investing in that future in Cedar Falls again. So over the next few months, you're likely going to hear me talk about alignment. Now, I know when I did a Courier article with Andy, he made sure to mention to me that that's not very sexy, and it's not the most sexy thing. But any organization, city government included, can only be effective when there is a shared understanding of what our goals are, when there is trust between leadership to work together toward those goals, and when there is clarity around how we're going to get there, and that's where we need to start. So putting first things first, I know, again, talking with Andy, he asked, what are some of those first things you're going to do in the first couple of months, the first actions you want to take? And to me, the first thing is looking at how we as a leadership team work together, and that means we as city council, city staff, and my role as mayor. That's the leadership team of our community. We have a lot of decisions to make, representation of the residents to make sure we're accountable to. So looking at us as a leadership team and how do we meet, what's our meeting cadence, how do we interact with each other. So we're going to see some changes over the next coming months, including a specific focus on redeveloping a new 3 to 5 year strategic plan for the community that takes a lot of our goal setting priorities and puts them into a format that we can use to help us prioritize what do we invest in over the next several years. Also then looking at city staff and council more regularly on quarterly schedule, sitting down to have reflective retro reviews on what progress did we make in the last quarter, what are we looking to prioritize in the next quarter, and being able to be accountable to the residents on what are we working on, why are we focusing on the things we're working on, and then how are we as a group working together effectively to get there. You'll see more work sessions a lot of times. So there's the council meetings in the chamber. There's the committee meetings that we have before that, but there's also work sessions, which will typically be here in this front room, still open to the public, but it's really a chance for council to sit down and work together through some of the more complex issues. We haven't leveraged that as a tool to build shared consensus a lot, so you're gonna see more emphasis on how are we as a leadership team sitting down and working together around a table to work through complex topics like College Hill, redevelopment of our key commercial districts, and addressing some of the bigger quality of life issues, housing, community safety, some of those things. And then also, too, for myself as mayor, is a commitment to take a very hands-on role, communicating one-on-one with our council members, figuring out the concerns, seeing what they're looking to see, but also with staff, and making sure we're aligning what we're looking to see from residents, from city council, with the staff actions that we're taking. And me as the mayor, in the goal setting, we use the term quarterback, really taking on that role to make sure we are helping lead that conversation, build consensus, knowing we will always disagree. We'll never have full agreement on everything. We'll always have conflict, but it needs to be constructive conflict where we're working through discussions, focusing on what is it we're trying to accomplish. So at the same time, however, we can't delay. There are several specific issues we need to make progress on because the community expects of it. When you're out in the community talking to people, you get a lot of opinions on what should we be doing. But there are specific issues. Housing is a big one with our housing costs and property tax values going up. I'm sure many of you have gotten your property tax bill and you see that coming regularly. College Hill is another one. These are specific issues that we as a council at goal setting said we need to prioritize these now. College Hill Vision Plan was one that over the last couple of years has kind of been stalled out. I think especially with our new council members, we know we need to start taking action on these things. So the first thing, January 16th, second meeting, not the first thing, but we'll be focusing on a work session to start getting into the details, making progress on what will work, what needs to be changed, and making sure we're making progress and action on the things that residents expect us to be working on. Otherwise, we are not doing our job as elected leadership if we're not making that progress. And we have a lot of exciting conversations coming up around a lot of quality of life issues or opportunities with the new river redevelopment and the new riverfront, which I think should be opened up this next season. We don't know the exact date. Construction's never on time. Just so then to say, though, we've got the new Parks Master Plan coming up this year. It's a good chance for us as a community to really sit down and talk about what do we want to see for our parks, how are we investing in some of those community assets, and then a real opportunity to really make sure that Cedar Falls is one of the best places to do business in, to develop in, to raise your family in, and really focusing on that plan over the next coming years. So to repeat, and this is taken straight from my original presentation at my kickoff, but I realize that it bears the same statement today that it did back then. To repeat my commitment that I made early on in my campaign, and now as mayor, So I commit to be an approachable, solution-focused leader for Cedar Falls to help us align around that shared question of where do we want to go as a community over the next 10, 15, 20 years, and to put in the work alongside everyone in this community to make it happen. And I say that last part because at the end of the day, the mayor is just one person. It is one role. It takes a community of people organizing events, running businesses, volunteering, helping out our neighbors when they need it that really makes the community a great place to live. The mayor can't do all that. This has to be a job as a community on how do we move forward. And I truly do believe we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us. And I'm looking forward to working with city staff, our new council members and previous council members, and our business and nonprofit community to keep making Cedar Falls a place that we can be excited to call home. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. So just thank you again, everyone, for continuing to invest in Cedar Falls. We are only here because of the investment that all of you make in this community and all of us make in helping to lead it. So I'm looking forward to the chance to keep that going. So thank you.